In the last episode of DBZ, our hero son Goku was caught off guard at the sudden arrival of his friends, as well as a mysterious stranger waiting for him at the exact location of his crash landing from an alien planet. After briefly testing Goku's character and fighting ability, the young Drip Lord reveals that his name is Trunks and that he's come from a future that was all but destroyed by two evil androids that in 3 years' time are destined to awaken and devastate the Earth as they know it. Trunks states that using the technology they have developed in his time, his goal has now become to visit the past and armed with his current knowledge to empower Earth's mightiest heroes so that their future doesn't have to turn out the same way his has. Trunks provides Goku with a medicine to fight off a viral heart disease that canonically was supposed to take him out in this timeline, as well as the time, date, and location of the android threat, so that Goku and his homies have as much time as possible to train before Judgment Day approaches. And before peacing out, the young man drops one final bombshell, informing Goku that he is the offspring of Bulma and the soon-to-be de-virgin Vegeta. So he asks Goku not to give him the heads up because it's guaranteed to destroy the vibes, and if all goes well, he will meet them again in 3 years to provide support against the android threat. And with that, the lavender-haired young man was off and Goku was left to impart the news to his comrades. But before Goku can really begin to hit him with the facts, Vegeta, low-key salty bro, is actually still alive, looks over at him and is like, how in the name of Porunga did you make it off that rock in one piece? Yamcha chimes in too, telling Goku that they were listening to the whole thing on King Kai's Zoom connection and it sounded like he was absolutely cooked. Goku, being the unserious man that he is like, damn, me too, but then describes how he got mad lucky and found one of the leftover Ginyu Force spaceships next to him a short distance from where Frieza's got melted. Dude said he just went into the pod, started hitting some buttons, and next thing he knows, it took him to this little planet called Yardrat where he starts chopping it up with some aliens. Vegeta remarks that he is positive that even though them little Yardratians are weak, they have some crazy techniques, and he's assuming that's what took this man so long to come back home. Goku's like, you got me, and tells him that while he was chilling in the cut on Yardrat, the homies taught him how to teleport. Everybody starts glazing Goku up like crazy, like, no way, bro, you learn how to teleport? When the prince chimes in and is like, Cap, when you move fast enough, it looks like teleportation. This boy is over here lying in y'all's face. Goku's like, all right, bet, Vegeta, and in a second disappears, only to reappear again damn near instantly, this time holding a pair of Bulma's panties. No, I'm kidding. He's holding a pair of glasses, which he rocks briefly, then hands them over to Krillin. The crew remarks, wait, don't those belong to Master Roshi? But there's no way because dude lives miles from the location they're currently at. Then Goku cracks a smile and is like, yes sir, explaining to them how he's able to lock on to an individual's unique energy signal. He can transport them to their location instantly. After peeping this, Vegeta bursts a good 2 blood vessels and develops an involuntary eye twitch that still occurs whenever Goku says something that gets on his nerves to this day. But with the intros and new tricks out of the way, Goku's peeps are understandably like, okay, so what did little homie with the sword say? And this man Goku hits him with the anime head scratch and was like, not much. Piccolo looks over at him like, son, this is BS, bro. If you ain't gonna tell him, I will, because I feel like we all have the right to avoid getting smoked if the opportunity is there. Goku then does a double take and is like, wait, you heard everything? And young Junior is like, these ears ain't just for show, playboy. And don't worry, I'll keep anything that might endanger your buddy's birth chances out of it. And just like that, pretending like they didn't hear that last part Piccolo mentioned, the Namekian begins explaining to the crew the arrival of the androids, the predicted curb stomping of everyone in the coming battle, and the amount of time they have to prepare before D-Day. After hearing the news, Yamcha and a couple of the others are sitting with their mouth open like, haha, saw Cap, right? Like, there's no way Leo DiCaprio came from the future. It's gotta be some kind of prank. Then Piccolo looks over at the man and is like, bro, we live in a world where Dragon Balls exist. You're really gonna sit here and look at me in the face and tell me that time travel might not be a possibility, especially after everything we already been through? Look, I don't know what y'all got planned, but I'm going to be training because I'm not having a repeat of that Frieza situation. And I suggest that any of y'all that really ain't about that life just say so right now, because I'm not trying to roll up on these Terminators, have one of y'all get cold feet, and now I'm getting 2v1 looking crazy out here because I trusted some Earthlings that really wasn't here to throw hands for real. And y'all already know Krillin and Yamcha were dead silent because these fellas know they're past their expiration date. Vegeta's the first to pipe up, yelling to Piccolo that he's curious to know who made the Namek the leader, and he's pretty sure Green Man is the first one that would get turned into a chalk outline should something crazy happen, so he might might want to take the bass out of his voice. Piccolo stances up and is like, boy, I will slap the ugly off you right now in front of your soon-to-be baby mom, so please do not come at me like that again. Goku hops in the middle trying to referee, but then Bulma, the only one low-key using her noggin, speaks up and is like, hold up, since we know the name, location, and date that all this is supposed to happen, why don't we just use the Dragon Balls to find Gero and smoke him before he even has a chance to do this and save each of us the trouble? Krillin's like, yo, that is the most brilliant thing I've ever heard, and begins meat riding Bulma so hard his tailbone's starting to hurt when Vegeta gets on his misogyny tip and starts telling Bulma that since she's a woman, she don't know a damn thing about honor, and he will smoke anyone himself who tries to body those androids beforehand on a cowardly tip before he gets to test his strength on them. Bulma claps back and is like, boy, if you don't shut your 4'5" mouth right now, this is not a game. We are literally told that 90% of y'all are toothpaste if these androids activate, and you want to sit here and talk to me about testing strength? Bulma then pleads with Goku, hoping that since he's the alpha of the group, if she gets his approval, he may just be able to convince the others. Bulma miscalculated the Saiyan blood running through his veins though, because Goku's in agreement with Vegeta and also feels it's wrong to take out Gero right now if he hasn't done anything yet. Tien chimes in too that he wants to fight these robots fair and square, and that if he gets murked on the battlefield, at least it was an honorable way to go. Sensing that the tide is turning, Joe Rogan changes his mind as well, telling Bulma that she doesn't understand the fierce passion for battle that burns in the heart of every man. After he's done capping though, he whispers to Bulma that his real goal is to stay on Vegeta and Piccolo's good side, because he really does not want smoke at this point. Bulma and Gohan stare at Krillin for a moment, processing the death of the last bit of respect they had for him, before going with the group and agreeing that they will train their hardest before meeting back up again in 3 years in preparation for the androids. Vegeta, being the prideful man he is, decides to train alone and vows to pass Kakarot by the time they meet up again. Goku asks the homie Piccolo to train with him and thinks it would be good for Gohan as well, to which Piccolo agrees. Tien states he likes training by his lonely as well, so he and Chaozu are going to split and see them on the date of the android's arrival. This just leaves Yamcha and Krillin. Goku offers to have both of them come along, but Krillin says, nah, I'm going to go to Roshi and have him teach me a few things. This man Yamcha's like, yeah, I'm going to go do my own thing too. I'll catch up with y'all soon. So you already know that these fellas are about to come back with bare minimum results, being Senzu bean holders at best. And with that, the training regime begins. Goku arrives home with Gohan and tries to convince his wife that it's a good idea for their child to miss 3 years of school to run 2v1s with him and his murderer in the woods, and as expected, it's not happening. Then this man Goku goes sicko mode and literally puts his wife through a wall in their marital home till she changes her mind. Bro must have got trained by Chris Brown while he was on Yard Rat as well. After gaslighting Chi-Chi a bit longer and wrapping her in bandages in hopes she won't call law enforcement, she agrees, but tells Goku that after these robots get discontinued, Gohan's days as a martial artist are extinct. The whole time Piccolo's watching the entire thing like a creeper from the window, thinking about how thankful he is that there ain't no women on Namek, because they seem way scarier than the Saiyans. This man Vegeta makes himself comfortable over at the Briefs estate and starts demanding that Bulma's pops make him a 300 times gravity chamber, under the logic that if Goku leveled up the way he did training under 100 times gravity, then him training under 300 times meaning he's guaranteed to hit the Super Saiyan threshold and surpass that low-born idiot. The filler episodes give us a few episodes of training montages, my favorite of which are the scenes of Vegeta shadow boxing by himself in 300 times gravity. Then Yamcha, realizing that the show is about to go from DBZ to NTR for him, tries to do the same and damn near ends up turning himself into a pancake until he realizes he's not built for this and mentally gives up the quest for the Bulma Bowl. Another favorite is watching Goku and Piccolo go straight gank squad on Gohan. I mean, these two grown men were absolutely going ham on this child. I mean, if I saw someone karate chop my son the way Piccolo was putting hands on Gohan in the mountains, we would have had the fist fight. There's no other option. But this man Goku was watching the whole thing like, yeah, make sure you get the other side of his neck too, Piccolo. Actually, on second thought, let me hop in. I'll really show you how to beat up a 7-year-old. The final honorable mention of the filler section of this part of the story is the infamous driving school episodes that takes place during this part as well.
I don't carry a gun. I drive.
So Chi-Chi, on her way home from a hard day working to bring home groceries for her husband and child, starts getting chased through the woods near their home by a rabid dinosaur and eats damn near all the groceries that she had to waltz her happy ass into town to get. Then when she arrives home, broken grocery list, Goku and Gohan come into the house musty as hell and just throw their gross training gear on the kitchen floor and holler at the top of their lungs, yo Chi-Chi, clean up these clothes and start my bath, please. My balls are sweating from all the karate I was doing. Oh, and make sure you make a plate of food for my mans as well, because Piccolo's coming over and he's gonna be hungry. Chi-Chi hears this and an internal switch flips. Sick of Goku's scrub ass behavior, she tells him that he needs to get his ass into town and learn something useful for a change. She tells him that tomorrow morning he and Piccolo need to hit the license bureau first thing in the morning so he can work on getting the car, because if she has to walk home one more time almost getting ravaged by dinosaurs after grocery shopping, all because they don't got a whip, he can expect divorce papers on his training gi within a week. And as usual, Goku throws Piccolo under the bus, getting him roped into it as well, and now both of them are on their quest to finish boating school before Goku's marriage self-destructs. All my joking aside, the episode is just a lot of fun. Seeing Goku and Piccolo in civilian clothes absolutely drip to death as they try to navigate their way through real-life stressors as these superhuman entities is a recipe for pure ridiculousness and fun. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I highly recommend it, as it's high-tier filler if there is such a thing, and it's absolutely worth a watch, even if it adds 0 to the overall canon. And like that, my friends, 3 years pass and our friends are on their way towards South City for the fated arrival of the androids. One of the first characters we're introduced to post-time skip is Gohan, who now has noticeably longer hair that's grown a bit taller too. He's accompanied by his father and Goku, who sensed Gohan's nervousness and remarked that they ran as many handicap matches against him as one child could possibly handle, so just trust in the ass beatings he received and try not to blow through too much energy before they reach the androids. On their way over, they run into Krillin, who states how much stronger he can tell they've all become, especially Gohan, who seems as though he's improved a great deal during that time. Goku asks Krillin about his own training regimen, and he grows disturbingly quiet, defensively remarking on how this whole thing with the androids makes his tummy hurt if he's gonna keep it a buck, since he doesn't have any Super Saiyan cheat codes and can't be brought back to life by the Earth Dragon again. He's not exactly looking forward to this conflict coming up. As they get closer to the island, Goku, Krillin, and Piccolo recognize familiar energy readings and drop down to greet him. There they come across Yamcha, who clearly recently got into a disagreement with his barber, the homie Tenshinhan, and the ever-lovely Bulma, who is now sporting a cute little baby on her hip. Krillin and Gohan stare at Bulma in shock for a few seconds, verifying that the baby is indeed hers and congratulating her on officially getting together with Yamcha and starting a family. Something's wrong though, because shortly after this is uttered, there's a cool chill in the air as the wasteland is filled with an awkward silence, and they all just kind of look at each other for a moment. Then Yamcha himself speaks up and is like, nah, I hate to break it to you, Gohan, but that ain't my baby. You can damn near taste the salt on Yamcha's words as he slowly ruminates on the 3-year cucking process he experienced before Goku breaks the tension, comes up to the baby like, hey baby Vegeta, it's so good to meet you, little Trunks. Bulma and the rest of the Z homies present can only stare as one, process the fact that Bulma let Vegeta hit, and 2, that Goku somehow already knew this as well as the baby's name. Before Goku can even attempt to lie his way out of the corner he just put himself in, Piccolo gives him a bailout and asks where the Prince of All Cheeks is at anyway. Bulma explains that she wishes she knew. He only usually sticks around to train and knock boots, then after that he's gone, not to be seen for a few days or even weeks at a time. Goku explains how he knows Vegeta's Saiyan blood won't let him miss a good fight, so he's sure that they'll see him any minute now. As they await for the appointed time, another guest arrives in a Capsule Corp Tesla, and it's none other than the homie Yajirobe. Goku's simple self comes up and is like, no way, bro, you came to put some hands on these androids too? Yajirobe looks exactly at dude the way anybody in this series that isn't an alien at this point should, then pulls out a bag of perks and is like, here Goku, fresh from corn, then immediately hops back in his whip. Goku awkwardly laughs and is like, wait, you for real ain't gonna stay? And Yajirobe is like, no sir, cause I actually value my life and have common sense, so y'all have fun playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots and I'll catch you at the tower if you don't end up in King Yemma's lobby first. As Yajirobe drives off, Yamcha remarks on how it's already a short time past when the young boy told him the androids would arrive, and begins talking out the side of his mouth like, I told y'all it was just a prank, bro. There wasn't no point trusting that little dude. When all of a sudden, an explosion occurs in the air and they register it as the vehicle Yajirobe was driving. They all start tripping, wondering why they didn't sense anything in town that would be capable of doing that kind of damage. Gohan points out that since they're dealing with androids and not living life forms, they may not be able to sense their power levels. With little time to strategize, Goku and Piccolo make the decision that the time to act is now. Goku tells Gohan to go and check on Yajirobe, while the rest of them will make their way into town to see if they can corner the androids before they can do any more unnecessary harm to the city. And with that final command, the Z homies jump into action and begin their search within the town. My favorite part of this section is Krillin's internal dialogue. Buddy just knows that he's a murder magnet, and he's 100% convinced that he is going to be the one to come up on the androids first because Kami hates him and he was never meant to be happy in life. As Krillin curses his lot in life and the rest of the team looks around, we see some civilians talking to one another who then stop to observe the obese clown and the elderly Moose Lodge member standing next to him in the middle of the sidewalk. Questioning if these two circus rejects saw the massive explosion that went off, the clown starts to mean mug one of the civilians who stances up and is preparing to knock Big Boy back in a mime school. Then out of nowhere, Krusty the Clown's cousin just headbutts the literal life out of this man, leaving him with a missing eyeball and multiple teeth going. Buddy next to him peeps what just happened, and before he can pull out the blick, he gets boomed 40 feet away into a local skyscraper. Then the scene follows the clown's buddy, whom is just standing in traffic with a 1,000-yard stare, whom presumably just disassociated, momentarily thinking about all the atrocities he committed back in Nam. When the motorist he's standing in front of gets rightfully pissed, yelling at him to pick up his Medicare card and skedaddle, the old vet pulls up on Buddy, removes the hood of his car with one hand just to flex, then grabs this dude out of the car and with one hand starts juicing him like that one kid on That's So Raven until he squeezes so hard he literally pops the dude's top like a Pringles can. We cut to Yamcha, who's on the scan of the city, peeps a couple of corpses on the floor and gets a feeling that he may not be too far off from the androids he's been keeping an eye out for. As he continues the search, he sees two people coming up on his rear and warns them that they may want to leave ASAP because there are two weirdos on the loose pulling people's wigs back and it ain't about to be pretty. After realizing the civilians behind him aren't listening, Yamcha turns around and asks the stubborn morons if they happen to see two weirdos running around. After doing a quick double take and registering the situation, he realized that he indeed has found the two weirdos he was looking for. Yamcha takes a step back, trying to establish some distance to call for the others, but before he can finish the call, the old war vet has his hands around his mouth. After a moment, Yamcha feels a strange sensation, like all the energy leaving his body. The last thing he hears before he drifts off to sleep is the clown telling him that the safety word is Vegeta, before the old bag of bones gives him the hand job of the century, and everything fades to black. And right here, my friends, is where we're calling it for today. What did y'all think of the training arc and the arrival of the androids? One thing that feels striking to me coming back to this point in the story is how much darker the tone feels in this saga. Toriyama did a hell of a job injecting this point of the arc, especially with a sense of mystery and dread, which is actually a pretty significant tonal shift from many sagas throughout Dragon Ball as a whole. Tune in next time as the Z homies make their encounter with the androids and attempt to change history. Will they be successful? Or is fate too powerful a force to overcome, even for a Super Saiyan? Be easy, y'all, and I'll talk to you again in the next video.